You know, we've heard the word menopause over and over again to where we're probably tired of it. Is there such a thing, though, as menopause? Actually, there is. It's called andropause. And it's something that we women need to know about because men also go through a decline of hormones that can be devastating, if not as significant as what we experience. That's today on Second Act TV. Anyway, Art, thank you for coming here today. Let's introduce Art to our viewers. You are Dr. Lori's our expert resident hormone specialist. You're her brother-in-law.
Yes.
Which may explain a little bit while you're actually willing to talk about some things that a lot of men will not. We can't get them to open up. So thank you for being here because it's really important, not only for men to understand that, but obviously our program here directed to women. You know, what do we need to know about what you guys go through? So tell us a little bit. What do you do? First of all, how old are you, if you don't mind?
Well, thank you, Silke. I just turned 51, and I work on the waterfront in Long Beach, and it's a very active job that I do. I'm actually a harbor pilot, and we are the guys that guide the ships into the port. We climb up the ladder, meet the captain, and then we take the con of the ship and drive the ship into the port.
So very active,
it's
very
active. It's physically demanding, it's stressful, it's long hours and odd hours, so it puts a lot of stress physically and mentally on our bodies.
Yeah, and you're obviously in very good shape, and which means that you're in tune to your body, maybe more so some others. Tell me what you experienced and why you chose.
Well, I've like you say, thank you. I've been active my whole life. I rode crew in college. I've been a surfer my whole life. I've surfed around the world. I'm a former triathlete. Just you name it. I love to experience my life physically. And what I noticed, Silke, was I noticed just a kind of a general decline. And it would take me, for instance, longer to recover from my workouts.
Yeah.
I would be more sore, for instance, playing basketball. I played in men's league basketball until I was 49. I wanted to make it to 50, and I just was struggling, and I was just chalking it up to old age. I was getting
Which is
slower.
what we all do, yeah.
Right. And so those were the main symptoms I was experiencing. And then my brother, Dr. Lori's husband, John, he mentioned that he had tried this hormone therapy and that he was having some great results.
And what did you think?
Well, I thought, oh, that's great, that's good for you, but you know, thanks, but I don't need that. And like most guys would say, and then I just, when it came to the point where it wasn't just the physical exercise symptoms that I was experiencing.
Like what else did you experience?
Well, it was when it actually came down to in the bedroom.
Ah, okay.
So
thank you for opening that up. It's a very hard subject to bring up, I'm learning. Men do not want to talk about this.
And guys are prideful, and I'm no different. And I'm just, you know, it doesn't bother me really to talk about it. And guys,
it's normal. Everybody
Well, and it wasn't every time. It was just, I noticed a subtle change begin to happen. And so, you know, like I say, it wasn't every time, guys. You know, I'm proud enough to I can put that caveat in there, but there were a few times where I was not able to function, and that really raised a red flag. And I called my brother and I said, Johnny, how's it going? Okay, what now? Tell me again about that hormone therapy.
So when you obviously did the hormone therapy, and is that? May I ask then? Did that literally replace Viagra? Not that you ever took Viagra, but here's what we're trying to establish, and that's what Dr. Lori and I are discussing, is that if we go to the root of the problem, a lot of these prescription drugs may not be.
Well, that's been my philosophy with maintaining my health my whole life, was not to mask symptoms or try to cover up symptoms or prop up some symptom that I'm having, but with any aspect of my health or any illness that I may have had, I want to find out exactly what was wrong and fix that problem. And if that was a lifestyle thing or a nutrition thing or an exercise or sleep or whatever it was, that's what I wanted to do first. And so it just made sense to me to try hormone therapy if that's what my body was lacking, because obviously you can take a blood test and find out what your testosterone level is.
Right.
And as that was obviously, I remember I took a test when I must have been about 45. And the doctor said, you have the testosterone of a 25-year-old.
Okay.
And I just, I came home and reported that straight to my wife and said,
Yeah.
and she says, yeah, no wonder. But just as they say, the levels were dropping, and that was obvious, and I started to feel the effects. And then when I had the therapy, it was quite distinct, the
Wow.
difference.
Well, Art, thank you so much for sharing that with us today and for opening up about that. Like I said, it's tough to get men to talk about it, but it's good for us women to hear about that, and that there are other solutions out there, and just to feel better. And I, to our viewers, in addition to the bedroom issues associated with our decline and testosterone and everything we hear about, there are many other benefits to getting your testosterone levels checked for your men. And that's on another episode of Second Act TV.